Welcome everyone to the UniCredit Youth America's Cup.
3, 2, 1, turning.
It's an honor to be here in Spain and competing in these cool boats.
Farino.
We're definitely the underdog and these guys behind are the favorites.
So we're definitely testing the limits.
4 down.
When you do stuff the nose and you remind yourself, yep, there's a lot going on, you're really fast and there's plenty of damage you can do.
The America's Cup is big, you know. You're ripping around at 40 knots, you've got plenty of things to worry about.
Stand by jibe, turning.
We have spent a lot of time in the simulator, hundreds and hundreds of hours. It's a balancing act, these boats.
Holding.
You know, you're leaning on 2 points in the water and everything has to be lined up for you to feel locked in.
Are we under zone?
I'm super happy that I was decided to be part of this whole project, and yeah, super cool.
Really hard to stay calm on board, and that's definitely a big focus point for us.
Stand by, 4 down.
Be everybody's rival, I think. We have a ton of really good youth sailors here, and we're hoping to get through to the next round so that we can hopefully race against our fellow North American team.
It'll be a tough lane here. Jump.
We're definitely prepared for this regatta, and a team like Artemis supporting us, the experience is unbelievable. This is the pathway. I'm looking forward for this week.
Molt bona tarda and welcome. There is a sea of change off the coast of Barcelona today. The AC-75s are taking a well-earned rest and making way for the return of the AC-40s. Yes, the UniCredit Youth America's Cup is back. The next generation of sailing superstars are about to take to the water to test their skills, racing at speeds of up to 100 kilometres per hour. There are 12 national youth teams from around the world racing, and this is the prize, the UniCredit Youth America's Cup trophy. Not since 2017 have future AC-75 sailors had a chance to compete for this coveted title. Athena Pathways Great Britain were the last team to stand on the top step. Here's how the competition works. 12 teams divided into 2 groups of 6. Group A is made up of Louis Vuitton 37th America's Cup teams, and Group B are today's invited teams. In the qualification series, both groups will sail 8 fleet races. The top 3 point scoring teams will then advance to a final series of 4 races with a fresh point start to decide the top 2 teams. Those 2 will then go head-to-head in a winner-takes-all single match race final on September the 26th. Today will be the first time Group B races, so the crews of Australia, Canada, Sweden, Spain, Germany and the Netherlands will be primed to bank as many points as they can, knowing they only have 8 races to avoid the cut-off. And the Group B sailors and their teams have had an extra day on shore, but they are itching to get off it and onto the water because today is a big day for them. A lot of these teams have not had a huge amount of time in these AC-40s, so every time they get onto the water, the learning curve is literally vertical, but they are ready to go. These are some of the most experienced young sailors in the world that we know today, and a lot are now going to test themselves. It's a bit like a live audition to be an AC-75 sailor. So it's goggles on, sails up, and time to go racing. Group B in the UniCredit Youth America's Cup. So why don't we meet the teams?
Short of time in the boat, this team have fully made use of their simulator and arrive on the racetrack with a clear plan of attack. Driving it, skipper Andrew Wood and women's skiff sensation Georgia Lewin-Raflans. And in charge of pace, it's trimmers Jack Grogan and Andre Van Dam.
Sail Team Barcelona are the local kids on the block and will be wanting to show the other teams how to do it here on their local waters off Barcelona. Driving the AC-40 is Conrad Konitzer and Martin Wisner, and on sail trim is Antonio Torrado and Jaime Framis.
In practice racing, this team came out punching and impressed from the get-go. Skipper match racing rockstar Cole Tapper has surrounded himself with a young Aussie team that knows how to go fast. Offside helm is Jack Ferguson, trimmers Max Paul and Tom Needham.
Team Germany is diversity of talent with multi-hull, skiff and foiling experience. Led by women's skiff sailor Maru Scheel, she is joined on the wheels by Paul Farine, and on aero trim is a talented combination of Jesse Lindstad and Tom Heinrich.
With the resources and backroom knowledge of former Swedish America's Cup team Artemis, this unit has to be the pre-game favourites. Practiced and professional, all eyes today are on skipper Engström and his offside partner Lindqvist. And experienced trimmers are Alnabek and Christensen.
From the Netherlands, Yacht Team Dutch Sail is hoping to set the bar for the invited teams here in Barcelona. On the wheels is world skiff and dinghy champions Paul Harmutmon and Bart Lambrix. They are joined by the trim pairing of Elliot Savlon and Brianna Bauer.
All of these teams have had to wait and watch as the other group ripped around the track, which certainly wouldn't have done anything to reduce the nerves. But today is their time to shine, and they will face an uncharacteristically grey and rainy Barcelona. Breeze is in from the northeast, but with so much action in the sky, we can expect it to be quite changeable. Currently, we've got a foilable 7 to 11 knots and a gentle sea. And to help us make sense of it all, we can once again rely on the marvel that is Windsight IQ, helping us see the variations in the breeze. Green is more and blue is less. And the course today is 2 laps. And with tight boundaries pushing the boats together, we can expect plenty action, both upwind and down.
So action is what we are looking for on the opening day of racing for Group B, the invited teams here at the UniCredit Youth America's Cup. But we're going to have to be patient for that racing to get going, because racing has now been put back. The start for race 1 is now 17 minutes past 2 local time. 2:17 here because the wind limits have not been reached. The wind limit they must reach at the lowest end is 7.5 knots, and it's been up and down in the last half an hour, but just when you need it, team, it's not there. Sorry, Stephen McIver. Shirley Robertson, double Olympic gold medalist, 3-time America's Cup champion Glenn Ashby, and on the water America's Cup tactician Peter Lester.
Certainly just on the limit here for breeze at the moment. So a few boats and teams up foiling around, but as you see there in the distance, as you mentioned, Shirley, some pretty unsettled weather, and going to be interesting to see what breeze comes down over the next few minutes.
Yeah, I think we're going to have a fascinating afternoon. If you've been watching the 75s race, you'll have seen their teams, their massive chase boats, towing them in and up onto the starting area. They're not allowed to do it in the 40s, not after 15 minutes to go. So really, it's so important, isn't it, that they stay up on the foils. But this is a good sign. I mean, I think we're right on the edge of pressing go.
Sail Team Barcelona, which is, of course, the local team representing their country, and, of course, this host city of the UniCredit Youth America's Cup and the Louis Vuitton 37th America's Cup. Let's just go into the water, say good afternoon to Peter Lester. Give us a live update, you might say, Pete, from on the water.
Hi, Stephen. Yeah, well, it's patchy. To the north of me, northeast, and that's where the wind is coming from. It's actually cleared. There are a lot of cloud cover, though. Then down south, it's raining down over the port area, down towards the airport. So that just makes a real unstable, you know, an unstable weather pattern out here. Looking up the course at the moment, there's actually pressure on the water for sure, but it's right at the bottom end.
Yeah, just that rain cloud there in the background, potentially just holding up the breeze, if you like. So the breeze blowing towards that rain cloud, with the cold water actually coming down and evaporating and cooling as it comes down to the water surface. That actually almost acts like a blocker or a wall and actually tries to push back into the wind that's actually blowing down. So that'll just be slowing the airflow down a little bit. Hopefully soon that'll disappear.
We can see in the left-hand corner of the screen the wind trends. That is the average that we've seen in the last 5 minutes. And as Stephen says, we need an average of over 7.5 knots, so slightly more than we've seen in the 70s. So
you can see at the top of your screen, however big a screen you are viewing this on around the world, the start's just been pushed back again, so we're 8 minutes and 37 seconds and counting to a start in race 1 of Group B. The invited teams ready to go on the waters of Barcelona. The one thing about these AC40s, look, it's offering a pathway to some superstars, young superstars of sailing. And the route into the America's Cup can obviously seem overwhelming and complex, but with the development of the AC40, the pathway's now here, and you can bet that the talent you see racing, and they will be racing, are going to be making America's Cup headlines in years to come. The UniCredit Youth America's Cup, here we go.
It's a game changer for youth, effectively, because they need a pathway. But there's no obvious way to make it through to the America's Cup. And these AC40s allow that process to begin, effectively.
Look how close this finish is.
It's an incredible class.
To sail is absolutely unbelievable.
The Youth America's Cup is definitely the biggest regatta any of us youth sailors have been a part of.
We see this as, you know, a massive stepping stone in our careers.
Just building for a job.
It inspires us so much to know that it's possible to make that leap into the larger America's Cup.
Got to build a bit first.
The vision for the AC40 was really based on 3 parameters: youth, women's, and AC regattas. We put a simulator in place, which is exactly the same. So when you put that combination together, it is allowing teams to just jump straight in an AC40 and be on pace straight away.
And you are the best of the best. You are the next generation. You are everything that we try to put together for this. So have an absolutely fantastic regatta. Let's see who comes out of this on top.
4 crew on board, there's 2 helms, 2 trimmers. It's a very high performance boat, a very technical boat. Top speeds of over 45 knots. For the youth sailors to have that exposure to these boats is just phenomenal. I think the one thing that stands out for me is the excitement and the hunger. The vibe is just unexplainable.
Because there's going to be teams that push it too far, and they'll end up on their sides. The high speeds that they're capable of makes split-second decisions critical.
Turn 2, 1, turning up, all the way upwind.
The format of this event is the 6 AC teams will race against each other, the 6 invited teams will race against each other, and from there the top 3 from each group come together to fleet race, and from there it goes to a cutthroat match race against the top 2 teams, and yeah, it's one race and the winner takes all.
Make a name for yourself on the America's Cup stage and the world is your oyster.
Yes, and why not be in a place that actually feels like a beautiful oyster? Barcelona, cracking place to be for any type of regatta. It has certainly welcomed all the AC40 teams in the UniCredit Youth America's Cup and, of course, the Louis Vuitton 37th America's Cup. 7 minutes and counting to the start of race 1. You would have seen in that story digital screens, because I think one of the biggest talking points has been the ability for analog sailors to become digital sailors to a point.
Yeah, look, the use of simulators now in many sports, and certainly in sailing, is very, very prevalent. And all these teams have spent numerous times, hundreds of hours on the simulator, and that simulator package that's been put together by Emirates Team New Zealand to sort of help the youth and women's teams get involved with these AC40s is super important. So just having a look at some of the cockpit controls as a sail just comes across in front of me there, but basically the simulator is actually set up exactly the same cockpit layout as what the teams are facing here on the actual AC40s themselves. So as you see there, the steering wheels, the screens, all the information that's provided, as well as all the button controls there, the cant controls, the board up down buttons, the ride height software controls. These boats are obviously autopilot flight control, so you have an adjustment of what height you want to fly at and what trim angle that you want to sail the boat at, but you need to set all that by yourself. The autopilot will then fly the boat above the water using ultrasonic ride height sensors and IMUs, which are inertial measuring units. Those filtration of sensors all gets put in, and the computer basically decides what to do with the flap angle to actually foil the boat and what to do with the rudder angle to actually keep the pitch. So really, really high-tech boats, but the simulators have been absolutely key to enabling these teams to sail the boats in real life really well.
Yeah, all the teams had a simulator, so yeah, all of those screens are very familiar to every single team.
You would have to have incredible mental dexterity to look at that screen while you're racing and ripping around at 30 or 40 knots to know exactly what you're looking at, to make a split-second decision, whether it's tack or jibe, anything.
The muscle memory, Shirley, I guess, is really what the simulator is all about. And the hundreds of hours that you do in the simulator, in sort of closed doors, if you like, when you do get on to the AC40, same as driving a car with a car simulator, you want to be feeling everything in your hands exactly as you would do on the water. So that's the real gain of the simulator, is painting the picture. Then you've got to go out and feel it in real life.
And we have talked about this before, because we talk about the difference between the sim and getting onto the water. And Cole Tapper from Australia said, wow, sim, he said hundreds of hours, but the difference was, oh my goodness, right? Feels right, but then you look over the side, oh, it's a bit different, there's water there.
Yeah, as we've seen with a few bow-down trims, you certainly get a bit of water in the face, and you don't get that on the simulator. So that simulator world versus reality world, Shirley, is really important.
And do Team Australia, heard Shirley earlier on this afternoon talk about how good they were in the practice races. I think they were even more than good, Shirley. They were impressive. We're hearing that we may be good for a start. We are 3 minutes and 40 seconds from counting. We will get an update from Mel from Race Management shortly to confirm that we have reached that wind limit, that average wind limit at the lower end of 7.5 knots, and we will go racing.
So all teams sailing around on the J1 jib, so the biggest sail area possible on these AC40s to get up and foiling here. So right on the cusp for foiling conditions at the moment, but hopefully we'll be good to go.
So that's ACT Germany up and foiling. Good sign. Is the good sign going to come from the voice of Mel and Race Management? Let's find out.
This is the race committee. We have now met the wind limit, and this race is live.
So we've got a race on our hands. We've got the majority of the fleet falling around and good to go for this opening race in Group B of the UniCredit Youth America's Cup, the invited teams.
Definitely an eyes out the boat kind of race, this. I mean, we saw that massive black cloud just to the south of the racetrack. I think we can expect lots of things to happen as this race goes on.
It's certainly really important to get the boats up and foiling here and stay on the foils. Team Canada there, top right of screen, they'll need to build and get on the foils. So on the foils, sail downwind and put yourself in a position to start. So a lot of pressure to get on the foils here and actually get downwind to set yourself up for a good start.
It is quite marginal, isn't it? The other thing is to avoid the gas of all the other boats, and we've seen how difficult that can be. France still off the foils. Sweden, left-hand corner, really struggling to get going.
The Swedes here, a real big job on their hands here to get taken off.
It's very light on that left-hand side.
This is where all your skills that you've learned over the years.
This is the umpires, boundary penalty Canada, boundary penalty Canada.
The Canadians there going out of bounds to try and get up onto the foil, so they've got a big job to get back to the start line and watch that penalty.
Everyone is above the
Canada,
start
you have
line,
a second penalty
apart from Germany.
For the boundary.
Really down speed.
I can only really see 3 teams here, Shirley, on the foils at the moment, so everything to keep the boat foiling as we've seen previously.
I see Team Germany need to tack, get back to the line, big manoeuvre.
Not hit. Not on pin light.
Vale, aquí bien prontito,
Canadians have got foiling and are ripping downwind there with only 30 seconds to go. So Team Germany look like they're in the pole position to get up and going here for a good start if they can stay foiling.
And on tack.
Slow, yeah.
On is coming up. On tack.
Australians tacking here in good shape if they can stay foiling as well.
Critical, full power.
Oh,
Germany. Foils.
Happy now. Racing all the time. Yep.
Australians just on the
Restart
foils there.
penalty, Germany, Sweden, Netherlands, Spain.
It is time to go racing, but there's some penalties to be served in the opening race of Group B in the UniCredit Youth America's Cup. The only team clean right now is Andu Team Australia.
A really nice time on distance there, executed by the Australian team. So
Canada, you still have the 2 penalties to pay.
Elliot 90 hit. 2, 1, or down.
Canada have to get rid of their penalty. They have to slow down.
Bingo. All clear at this. Critical, boys. Ding.
Canada don't take their penalty pretty soon. The umpires are not going to be happy.
well, they're just going to come sail straight across the bow of Andu Team Australia there, still with a penalty, and actually force Australia into the gas, which now they have to dip the Swedes. So, and they're off the foils now,
This
the
is the
Australians.
umpires. Canada, you have a 3rd penalty, not doing the penalties in time.
And that's really pushed Australia off the foils. So the local team, though, of Barcelona are leading the race at the moment and just taken over by Sweden. So they've come off the foils. Really difficult manoeuvres to pull off, surely, in these light air conditions.
Let's just remember, too, there's one team of rock stars that didn't even get to the start line, and that was Yo-Yo Team
Canada,
Dutch Sail.
penalties clear.
See them with the penalty marker on them. They didn't even get to the start line. That would be a real shame, but so much can change in these races. Remember, 4 legs and points on the line. You've got to score big points to make the top 3 in your group.
Almost a bit more pressure left, top left. 1 over that.
Swedish team with Artemis.
Low on the volume.
Swedish Challenge doing a really nice job to get the boat on the foils there in really marginal conditions. So they are going to take some huge gains here if they can stay on the foils and hopefully sail into more pressure. The Australians there just building back on the foil there, as are the team from Barcelona. So should expect the Australians to punch their way through into 2nd position here.
Let's go into the water with Peter Lester. What's the wind doing, Pete? Some are up, some are down.
Top right looks stronger to me. The left looks pretty quiet, and we're right on the bow of the Swedish team as they come up. And they look good, and the track they're coming right now, they'll come right over to this right-hand ley line, because that's where the stronger wind is. I expect them to go to ley line, and then they'll tack and go through that top mark gate. This will be a case of the leading boat extending.
This is the umpires. Netherlands, you've been forced to retire, did not start.
Forward into the boundary.
So the Swedish Challenge did such a good job of negotiating that carnage at the starting area. Now really seem to have found their form. Currently steering port helm is Ludwig Lundqvist.
Turkish speed in. And by 2, 1, or down.
Aussies not being able to stay on the foils there. So a disaster there for the Australian team. They really needed to pull that manoeuvre off. And
Sweden going for the tack.
they look like they may have pulled it off well. So huge gains there as we watch the Spanish now, the team from Barcelona.
Okay, stand by tack.
All eyes on them.
Put it down in 2, 1.
This is the race committee. We are moving the leeward gate, shortening the course to 0.7 nautical miles.
Nicely done, Spain. They picked their moment, and a little bit more pressure, the top right-hand side of the track. Nicely done.
They'll be really pleased with the execution of that tack, and Swedish team just sailing away to a very, very comfortable lead at the
Nobody
moment.
else is on boat foiling. Okay, another 10 today. Yeah, keep it fat. Yeah, all good. Good mode here.
Goggles off. It's that kind of day. Having a good look around.
Pressing a bit. 5 to go. And going in 3, 2, 1, or down. And big turn. Taking a bit more rudder off. This is the left mark, Luna. Yeah, board up. High pin, touch and go here. Slow board. We got it. This and 2, 1, and popping.
Oh, they did well to catch that.
Nice job, Shirley. Really nice job there. They'll sail away to a big lead here.
Your eyes now.
The Swedish challenge powered by Artemis. Pre-race favourite. They are looking strong at this point. They will have completed one leg of 4 in this opening Group B showdown.
And then just want to watch out for the bottom boats here. Oh, yeah,
Just a reminder,
Spain on
Yayo teamed up sail have been forced to retire, did not start.
Something coming down heading at 5.
That's an early body blow for a team that's loaded with talent.
And they'll be very disappointed, the Dutch, after not being able to get foiling and make it back to the start. So they'll be licking their wounds for another 20 minutes or so before they get another chance to have another go.
Sail Team Barcelona, so it went over the ley line to stay in pressure. Make sure they have a fat run in to this gate. Lovely sailing here.
If you've got an advantage, take it, right? And if you're on your home waters, you'll use every bit that you know to make sure you are in the game. And right now, Sail Team Barcelona are in the game, and the second team to go through that top gate to follow the Swedish challenge powered by Artemis down on the next leg.
Still some big holes in the breeze out here on the course, so all the teams very much having to put their heads on a swivel and be looking all the way around the course for what they're going to be sailing into, make sure they're manoeuvring in as much pressure as they possibly can.
Remember, the name of the game at this stage is to be in the top 3, so you go through to the next round. So important.
Vale, stand-by jive, blade drop, vale? Ok. Por dar in 2. Aguántamelo, Juan. Vale. I will. Por dar in 2.
Conrad Konitzer handing over to Martin Wisner there on the handlebars. Kami Framis now on trim, so really digging hard to try and keep the boat on the foils, but I think they've come off and haven't had enough speed entering that manoeuvre, so the Australians there still trying to get re-foiling again, but it's all about the Swedish at the moment. Artemis Racing doing a beautiful job getting down the track there, so they extend their lead and are the only boat on the foils at the moment.
They've done really well to ride through, you know, the patches of less wind.
Can you talk louder a bit? That's our car. Getting a bit softer here, but
of course,
nice pressure coming
Artemis, no stranger to the America's Cup. They were in Bermuda, a great challengers there. Nick Nitridge sailed with them.
Make sure you have the speed though.
It's great to see them back.
2, 1, we're down.
They're coached by Kyle Langford, won the America's Cup back in San Francisco, a fellow Aussie, Glenn.
A lot of experience there with Kyle, and he would have spent a lot of time working with his team to help them get to where they are. So really nice job there, just right on the edge of coming off the foil. So really nice effort there by the team to stay foiling.
Fantastic comms. I mean, you really hear 4 people working together.
Let me know when we need to build for a jive. Yeah.
Hugo Christensen there.
Over that building a bit. Have a bit fat on this, keep it safe. Yeah, we're gonna go left mark, my board. Or you can go board, but it's good to go in 10. Yeah, let me know where you want to have.
Skipper Oscar
Keep it a
Engström.
bit fat and then just a high exit.
Rasmus Allenbeck behind him, trimming the sails, so
have to go as soon as possible.
Doing a really nice job.
Coming left there.
Big pressure manoeuvre though for them to keep on the foils here, so everyone else struggling to get foiling at the moment.
Go for attack. Yeah, trying that.
The Winfield saying it's pretty light in that bottom left-hand track. It's going to be a nervous manoeuvre. Oh, and they go for the tack.
Going for the tack to try and stay out of their own dirty air, but they are off the foils there and in displacement mode.
Yeah, yes, get down. I think that's
all the rest of the AC40s at the moment.
Would say right side. Oh, but that's a left mark in that. Is that full displacement here? Yeah.
They were going so well too, weren't they? They were
like
just looking
something
really
going down
comfortable,
from
and they
left side looking this way, right?
looked for the option to stay on the fours. It hasn't come off. They still lead, but Sail Team Barcelona will attempt to catch up to them, but I think they too are off the foils.
Yeah, so all boats off the foils at the moment in displacement mode. So although we had enough breeze to get the start going, the breeze has dropped a little bit now. So there is something coming down though from the top end of the course, Shirley, and we're seeing potentially breeze of around 9 knots, which should be enough to accelerate. Team Germany potentially sailing into that pressure first. So
you just throw the cat amongst the pigeons again. You can be leading by 500 metres, and next minute someone can fly past you.
Good decision making by the Swedish Challenge. Just stayed in displacement mode. Get round the mark. Wait for the new breeze.
Want me to stay a bit? Yeah, you can stay. Never getting up to 11.
it looks like potentially we have the Australians and possibly the Canadians that might have popped on the foils. So if the Australians can stay on the foils, they are going to be sailing downwind very, very quickly compared to the other teams. So they are going to have to work hard though to get this next manoeuvre in to get through that gate.
Yeah, men's coming on at turn. I think we can go
so this is Team Australia. They still haven't gone through that top gate. They're about to do it. As Glenn said, if they can get this manoeuvre underway, they'll find some pressure. More pressure applied. More pressure applied. And the Swedish Challenge, powered by Artemis, are through the bottom gate. So they've completed 2 legs of 4 in the opening Group B race here in Barcelona.
Swedish here, just looking up the course of what's coming down. But the Canadians, beautiful lane of pressure. They're probably the windiest part of the course at the moment, and up and foiling. So they'll be looking to stay on the foils if they can and get up to that top gate.
Would that be a story? 3 penalties to start with, and you come flying past everybody.
Yeah, left 10 here.
This is the race committee. We are shortening the course to 3 legs. Course shortened to 3 legs.
Sailing into a huge hole here, guys.
So that means that the Swedish Challenge, powered by Artemis, are actually on the final leg. They're actually on there. It's been an upwind finish. That adds just a little bit of spice to those teams that have found some wind and heading on that first and only downwind leg of the day.
Go displacement for now then, and then we to pop on starboard.
Well, the Swedish Challenge is the only boat that is heading up to the finish. Now they will finish at the top of the screen.
And do you think it's a good time to tag?
Very calm on board, aren't they? I mean, really good decision making, not panicking, trying to get up on the foils, using what they've got.
It's Team Australia possibly sailing over to a little puffer breeze after making it through that top gate. But on board with the Swedish at the moment, they'll be watching what's happening up the course, and they'll be watching the Australians go through that top gate and accelerate. So not quite enough boat speed there for the Australians to pop up on the foils. So all eyes up the course on what's coming down now.
There is Team Australia off the foils yet again, but they have gone around the top gate.
It's going to come away to this boundary. We don't have enough room anymore. Copy. Your call on the fleet, because you'll be monitoring.
Yeah, so Swedes are the furthest. I think they're around the bottom gate, sailing back upwind. Spanish are not far off the bottom gate. German's still trying to get upwind to leeward. So yeah, we're P3, pretty much confirmed it.
Lovely summary.
Thank you.
Definitely had the paintbrushes out there going Hundies. Jack Ferguson there. Good work.
Sail Team Barcelona had a bit of bother. They currently sit in position 2. Germany are in position 5. They're quite a way back, but they've actually got back up. Are they just about up on the foils? They are up and away, so but they've still got to round that top gate. Pete, what do you make of this? It's sort of starting to sort of feel a little edgy, isn't it?
Top of the course, it looks like Canadians are coming up towards the top mark. They're foiling, and if they can pull off this next tack, they're going to end up pretty strong. But it's so hard to do the manoeuvres because they're right at bottom end. Looks like a few boats are starting to pop up. Top mark for me is the next big one for the Canadians.
What? Should I do a protest or?
Yeah, always. And who can?
Copy, can't.
Well, certainly some travel movement there on the German team, so some smoke coming off the back of that travel track, but they are on the foils.
They're going to wear that thing out.
Pues hay que tomar la boya. ¿La tengo para abajo o qué? ¿Qué ángulo llevas? Aquí 90. Por mí no más contra si te quieres
It might be important to say at this point that different to the cup racing we have been watching.
So at the top gate, it is Concord Pacific Racing and Team Germany getting around, so they're heading downwind and in some breeze. So if you are Sail Team Barcelona at this particular point, you might just be looking over your shoulder a little bit.
Yeah, you don't have to finish to get the points. They can call the race at any point and will take your current positioning. And remember, if you're leading, you get 10 points. If you're second, you get 7. So a big jump there. If you're third, you get 5th. And then 1 point there.
Well, the Australians have managed to pop up as well as the Germans there, and 27, 28 knots of boat speed at the moment, the Australians, so they'll be looking along with the Germans and the Canadians to get down to the bottom gate. Barcelona team needing to get up on the foils there, or they will get past, so Artemis Racing should be able to get into that pressure.
Up to 90. Pressure on us here. 2, 1. 9 seconds.
Not the best dive there by Andrew Team Australia. They'll be super frustrated with that. Team Germany and the Canadians absolutely ripping down, and will chew them up and spit them out the back really quickly. Important for Barcelona Sail Team to get round that mark and up to that new pressure, otherwise they will get overtaken. Sweden still a healthy lead, but not on the foils, so anything can happen from here. A lot of racing to go to get to that top finish for the Swedish team.
Just a reminder, the course has been shortened to just the 3 legs, so Sail Team Barcelona have managed to get around the bottom gate, so they now have the upwind leg to go. It's going to be a long way from there as we see AC Team Germany coming into the gate at pace, but of course this will be a critical rounding as well. You can see that Andu Team Australia and Concord Pacific Racing from Canada are up and falling, so
10 to tack.
not over.
Sorry. Make it very fat, Maru. Now we have to watch the mark. Yeah. That right. What? That right.
Down, 2, 1, turning.
Big jibe this for Germany.
Coming up high, 2, 1, up.
The team's all just pushing the ride height super high and venting that new foil, so
Okay, going through the gate, yeah.
just being a little bit greedy there with the ride height and paying the penalty for ventilation. And once you have a ventilated foil, you have no lift off it, and down you go. So big wobble there for Team Germany. We'll watch the other teams coming down to the mark here. We've got the Australians on the foils, the Canadians on the foils, and Team Barcelona trying to take off. So got the Canadians here in really good shape coming in down into the bottom here.
So Canada, they are steaming into this bottom gate. They get around it, so they've got one leg to go. And to look up the course, they can still see the Swedish challenge still down now. The Australians are going to get around that bottom gate as well.
All 5 boats now on the final leg, pushing for the finish.
And the locals, Barcelona team on the foil and the Swedish not on the foil, so potentially expect to see a lead change in the next 20 or 30 seconds. So Sweden really trying to get the boat on the foils, doing everything they can. They'll be looking in the rearview mirror as the fleet comes roaring into view, and they have to get the boat foiling here or they will get overtaken by the team from Barcelona.
It must be such a sinking feeling when you've done pretty well on the 2 of the 3 legs, then suddenly everybody else catches you up and they're coming in at pace.
Spanish, when we saw the wind field there, the Spanish did so well, didn't they? They executed all of that lovely green bit of the track.
And they have taken the lead, the local team from Barcelona.
What a story on the opening day of Group B in this UniCredit Youth America's Cup. The host city and their sail team heading to the finish. Not there yet, but heading towards it.
Yep, they've got basically one more tack to do to get to the finish line. So the Canadians now as well, potentially overtaking the Swedish team. But it's all about Team Barcelona and their local waters just trying to keep the boat on the foils, and they're bearing away to try and keep on the foil.
Full of talent, the Spanish boat, the Olympic 49er sailors, 420 European champions, part of Sail GP. They've got it all going on.
And just coming off the foils there, so not quite enough breeze to keep the boat on the foil, but they're very close to getting it back up again. And they're held out lefty, just about. They've got to be careful not to oversheet the main there, try and get that roll. And they are right on the edge. I think they've managed to pull it off, so brilliant job there by the team from Barcelona.
There's a lot of chat.
A lot of chat, but they've done a brilliant job.
So the opening race shortened to 3 legs of Group B in the UniCredit Youth America's Cup. It will be the local team, Sail Team Barcelona, who will eventually get the win. I better be careful here. Better be really careful.
They're the only boat really foiling well at the moment, so the Spanish team will get there even into displacement tack. But even if they come off the foils here, they still have a very healthy lead over their opponents. So not a whole lot of pressure to pull this tack off. They've managed to keep it on the foil, so well done.
Sail Team Barcelona get the win in Race 1 Group B. Fantastico!
The battle now for the rest of the podium places, so Canadians.
Confirm, Spain. You are finished.
And the Swedish actually out to the left-hand side of the screen in a big right-hand shift in displacement mode. So potentially the Swedish team back in the game again, Shirley. Not foiling, but sailing very, very good angles up to the finish there in displacement mode.
It looks like there's a right-hand shift in the breeze, which has really helped Sweden make their way to the finish.
to here towards the end.
We're going to have one boat when we pass.
Top right in a minute.
Good pressure and follow us, good. Still not following
But
on
definitely
the
a
other side.
huge right-hand shift there that's come through, and you look at
so they might get it.
the angle
But it's
that
only
the
one that
Swedes
possibly can get it.
are sailing to the finish.
Good.
Very, very good VMG or velocity made good to that,
I don't make delay, so I'm holding
that top gate finish.
Swedish have boats, yeah, 6 knots. That's
Yeah, I need you out there.
pretty good wind base.
Let's just remind folks, these are point-scoring races, so Sail Team Barcelona have picked up the maximum 10 points. Second will be 7, third will be 5, and getting in that top 3 is absolutely massive in terms of wanting to be in the top 3, because it's a long way back if you're finishing, let's be honest, below those top 3 places. But we've seen already in Group A, you can mix it up, and every race is a completely new deck of cards.
Yeah, the point system is so loaded to getting on the podium.
And the Canadians have actually done a great job of rebuilding their speed and got the boat back up on the foils here. So although they paid a big penalty having to put the bow down and build speed, they are now foiling and doing 4 times the speed of the Australians there. Germans also trying to get up on the foils here in a little puffer breeze, so potentially an overtaking move from the Canadians over the Swedish here if they can pull this tack off.
Stand by.
Low high here, Georgia.
Germans are following the Canadians, so they're both going to deny the Swedish the 7 points.
Need a good tack here, the Canadians.
A bit late on the trim there to keep the boat flat, but they've dug it out. So now the race, it's the turtle and the hare coming into the finish here. So
it's going to be Concord Pacific Racing, pipping the Swedish challenge at the post for 2nd position and the 7 points. And finally, the Swedish get across. They pick up the 5 points after leading the race for, well, we'll call it 2 legs. We'll just call it 2 and a bit legs, but and then Team Germany will come in for that 4th spot once they get across the line. They've come off the foils as well, but they've got enough momentum to get across the finish line and pick up the 3 points for 4th position. And they're across.
Yeah, so the old trying to keep the boat on the foils, execute your manoeuvres, only 1 mistake, and we can see what happens there. And
This is Germany. Can you confirm we finished?
Germany, you have finished.
so the Australians now, and do Team Australia, just having 1 more tack to do to get up there and take the 5th position. Quite painful to tack these boats in really light air conditions. Had their opportunities, the Australians, but just didn't quite execute a couple of their manoeuvres as well as they were hoping, but certainly had their opportunities.
Just a reminder that Yayo Team Dutch Sail, right at the beginning, they couldn't get up on the foils well after the start, so they were forced to retire, turning this into a 5-boat race, and this is the 5th and final boat to get across the finish line, and that will be Andu Team Australia.
Wait up, Max, if you can.
Let's go on board those Sail Team Barcelona and have a chat to Martin Visder. Martin, congratulations. Home waters, first race, you get the win. How good does that feel?
Good way to start the race, so happy to start racing after a long wait on the harbour, and just excited to get another race done.
How frustrating was that race? 3 legs only, but to see them all in front, then to finally run them down.
Yeah, absolutely. You have to stay calm. And yeah, the downwind we did, the boats after us were started sailing, foiling, and we were a bit frustrated there. But we happy for all the team. We maintained the calm down. So yeah, really happy and looking forward for the next one.
Massive congratulations. It was an exciting race to watch. You guys are the locals here. You know, what can we expect from these conditions, and what's the key?
Hi, Rosalie. To be honest, we didn't sail that much on Barcelona, and without these clouds, it's really unstable wind, so hope we got some clear air and get some racing done.
All right, thanks for your time, Martin. Good luck in the next 3 races.
Thank you very much.
So let's confirm the opening race in Group B of the UniCredit Youth America's Cup Fleet Race #1, and it goes to the local Sail Team Barcelona to get the full 10 points, followed by Concord Pacific Racing of Canada, the Swedish Challenge Team Germany, Andu Team Australia, and Yacht Team Dutch Sail.
Yeah, this was the start. It was on really way before the start, and actually Germany had done so good and just fell off the spoils at the last moment, and it was Australia who was the only clean boat to cross the line. Well, we saw the class of Sweden came out of that melee sailing smoothly and went round the top mark well ahead of the opposition. And they kept that lead all the way down to the bottom mark until they sailed into that light spot on the left-hand corner, came off the foils, and from there it was a painful last leg for the Swedish outfit.
It was a death of 1,000 paper cuts for the Swedes there, and the local team, Sail Barcelona, claiming their first win in this series for them, so great job. 4 points.
Well, less of a single moment and more of a chance to see how the positions kept shuffling around the racetrack. The last bottom gate, Germany arrived on the foils in 3rd, exited the mark in 5th. We're going to see plenty of this, aren't we, where the wind isn't giving our teams enough power to foil consistently. But the only thing you can do is just keep calm, plan ahead, look for the next path, and take your chances when you can find them. It's certainly looking like an unpredictable series.
So having a look at some of the numbers here, the Canadians' Concord team sailed over 2 kilometres more than 3rd place, showing that the shortest distance was in no way the key. It was keeping on the foils that was the absolute key to this race, and I think what we saw was the team that did that the best managed to get around the track in front, and that was Sail Team Barcelona.
We are live here in Barcelona on the opening day of Group B in the UniCredit Youth America's Cup, and it's a fantastic place, Barcelona. I suppose that's the advantage of being the home team. It comes with their own pressure, but support brings high expectations. Sail Team Barcelona, determined to make Barcelona proud.
As a Spanish sailor, seeing the cup coming to Spain and so to beautiful Barcelona, it's an honor. It's really, really exciting, and yeah, we will try to do our best and make everyone proud in Spain. It's looking like the Youth America's Cup is going to be a really competitive competition. All the youth teams are preparing themselves as good as they can. We have been preparing the simulator. That is the most useful tool that we can have. That you can really compare numbers and settings and things with the real boat. So we have put many, many hours in the simulator. We have always become gamers.
yeah, just training the communication settings and just different things to try to figure out how the actual boat works without breaking everything in the water. Martin Wisner is my helm. We are on the starboard side of the boat. I've sailed with him since I'm a kid. We are really good friends. For sure, he's really talented. One of the biggest talents I've seen. He has demonstrated along his short sailing career the results that he has, and yeah, that he's really talented and has a great future ahead.
Jaime Pram is the starboard trimmer, so it's going behind me. He's trying to teach me how to steer the boat. He's a really talented guy. We've sailed together since Optimus and for 20 together, fighting together.
Antonio Torrado is the port trimmer, so I work a lot with him to try to find new settings and the most optimal thing for the boat. He just doesn't want to rest. He keeps working and working and working. Sometimes we have to stop him, but that's probably his biggest strength, I think.
Konrad Konitzer is the port helm, and he's a really good friend of mine. He's a really talented sailor. He knows the rules really well, and he loves just trying to beat the other boat, so perfect combination.
I think we are clearly the underdogs.
We always dream too of being in the America's Cup, so this is a step forward of achieving our goal in the future. Really excited to be competing in these amazing boats and also in our country, in Spain, and beautiful Barcelona here.
It is beautiful Barcelona, and they've done a beautiful job on the opening race of Group B in the UniCredit Youth America's Cup, getting full points with that win. What a way to start the regatta for Team Barcelona. 10 points, followed by Canada, Sweden, Germany, Australia, and Yacht Team Dutch Sail, who were forced to retire. So we've just been advised the start for race number 2 has been pushed back to 10 minutes past 3. That's 10 minutes past 3. So time to shovel some energy into the throat, and away we go again. So I suppose we didn't really see the best of what we wanted to see today, but we did see, I would quite openly say, some surprise results.
Some great sailing there in those early pieces, and the team's really having to work hard to keep the boat on the foils. And I think in these tricky, bumpy, light air conditions, it's really important to execute your boat handling well. And it takes 4 people on board these boats to execute those manoeuvres. It's not just 1 or 2 people doing anything right. All 4 people, all 4 crew have to execute absolutely perfectly in these marginal conditions to keep the boat staying on the foils. So really tricky, light air, bumpy conditions. So hopefully we can get some more breeze soon.
Let's go onto the border chase 0 with Peter Lester. Peter, what's the weather feel like out there at the moment?
Not a lot of change, but what we are seeing are some black clouds developing just probably just slightly to the right of the top mark. Now, normally what happens with a black cloud developing, there'll be a bit of breeze will come out of that. But on the back of that, when that dissipates, it'll lighten off again. So right now we could be in for a little bit of a pulse of a bit more breeze, but it won't last.
It's not very optimistic, Peter Lester. I mean, the wind has rotated, as Peter said, slightly to the right-hand side. They've set the course up on 80, I think, now. And we're seeing like big pulses of breeze come in 9 or 10 knots, but also massive holes. It's going to be hard. I mean, but you know, if you're going to sail in Barcelona, you've got to be able to sail in everything. It offers you the whole spectrum of conditions, and also sea state as well. And we can see a little bit of a bump from that lovely aerial shot now.
That's a team that'll be happy. Concord Pacific Racing. I mean, we didn't see too much of them in the practice races. They were getting to grips with the AC40. Suddenly, hello, second place, race 1, 7 points.
Yeah, they've had literally no time on the boat until they arrived here, and they had a few practice hours. I think they had 3 hours before they got going. So really impressive. And you can tell, even just by the comms, they're class acts. and really keen to make a mark here. So yeah, very well done. Second place, good work.
We just have to remind you that the top 3 teams in each group, the top 3 highest point scoring teams in each group, this group, which is the invited teams, the other being the America's Cup teams, the top 3 go through to the 4-race semi-final. So points at a premium, and particularly on a day like today, if you can upset the order as Sail Team Barcelona and Concord Pacific Racing have done, it is really going to be an intriguing day and days of racing still to come. And do Team Australia. They will be disappointed for picking up just the 2 points. They looked so strong when the wind was up, but we have not seen anything yet. But you know what? Australia's got a magnificent history in sailing. The Australia 2 era in sailing will always be remembered down under, but now the rising talent aboard that boat are aiming to ignite a new chapter with their performance here in Barcelona.
The Youth America's Cup is definitely the biggest regatta any of us youth sailors have been a part of.
It's a really big thing for our country to bring Australia back to the America's Cup. While we've been out of the Cup since the early 2000s, this is the start of something new for Australia. I think it's going to be really competitive, probably one of the most competitive youth cups we've had before. The racing, due to the nature of these boats, if you've got the boat handling, I think the racing's going to be very close.
There's been some big names come through the ranks in this competition, and it's something that it just inspires us so much to know that it's possible to make that leap into the larger America's Cup, and our role models that we've been watching have been through the same pathway. So it's something that really motivates us as a team, and it just drives us to work even harder.
It's a big thing being able to represent your own country. Australians have suffered over the last few years having to represent other countries on the America's Cup stage.
This campaign is all about building a pathway. So between us youth sailors and our female sailors, we just want to bring that momentum, and to be the people who could lift that cup and start something for Australia again would just be so special.
Strengths of the Aussie youth team, we've got a fairly diverse team. Everyone comes from different backgrounds. We've got match racing, we've got fast boats, we've got slow boats, we've got Olympic pathways, and bringing everyone together in a unique fashion. We know we're the underdogs, and so collaborating and coming together has been our biggest strength. I'm a trimmer on board the AC40. We're responsible for the speed and the safe handling of the yacht. I'm sat behind Cole Tapper in the boat. He's our port driver. He's our resident match racer in the team, I guess. He's had a lot of success on the match racing world tour, and he brings the rules knowledge, the close racing, the tactics and the strategy to our team.
Well, the team will tell you that I'm not a fast boat expert. I'm a slow boat sailor, but they've quickly brought me up to speed on that, and that's something I find strength in on the other side of the yacht with Jack Ferguson. He's done a lot of moth sailing and 49er sailing, and he brings the speed, and sometimes it can be scary, but now we've built that trust, and you just got to let him go. You know, he's a pretty aggressive sailor.
We've got Max Paul, starboard trimmer, sitting behind Jack. He brings a lot of confidence to our team. He's a successful 49er sailor. He's done campaigns with previous Olympic medalists, so he's got a lot of experience racing at the top of the fleet.
Tom Needham is nothing if not meticulous. He is so detail-oriented, and he's really stepped up the level of the team in terms of our accuracy.
6 minutes, we got one more lap. That lap took just under 4 minutes.
Having someone like that on board with just such a great understanding of the boat and the fine details has really lifted our performance, I think. To race in the AC40 is something that we're learning as we go. As a team, admittedly, we've had less time in the boats training, but we feel that we've still developed a really good understanding of how all the systems work using the Team New Zealand simulator.
And as our team, that's our best training tool to practice sailing these AC40s. We don't have the fortunate position to be able to own one of these boats, and so sailing the simulator, putting hours in every day, every week, has been our best way to move forwards. The AC40, it's a bit of a beast. It's unlike anything I think any of us have ever sailed before. It's a really cool, high-performance, technical boat. But in saying that, the one design racing aspect means that it's going to be close racing, close finishes. Everyone will be tacking right next to each other. It's going to be awesome action.
As a team, our strength is our diversity. We've got really different mindsets across the boat that have meshed really well over the past year. It took a little bit of time to dial in just because of how we process information, and now that we've found that balance, we know how to get the best out of each other, and it's something that we're really looking forward to bringing onto the stage.
All of us in this team know how much of a big event this is for each of us individually as well as a team. For me personally, it would be probably the biggest moment of my youth sailing career. I'm really looking forward to the event, and I hope we can make it something special.
This is sick.
Happy days for Andu Team Australia, but they won't be happy with a 4th place finish, or should I say 5th place finish in the opening race of Group B. But they did raise one interesting point that a lot of America's Cup fans would love to see, and that's having an Australian team back in the big show, Glen Ashby. What would it mean for Australia to have a team back in the game?
Oh, look, I think there's a lot of people, that, including myself, that would absolutely love to see Australia back on the big stage again for the America's Cup, and I would love, at some point in my life, to see an Australian team, back in the big show. And I think with the history that Australia has had, and just over 40 years ago, in 1983, John Bertrand, Grant Zimmer, Ian Murray, all the boys, taking that America's Cup away from the New York Yacht Club was pretty special. I was 6 years old when that happened. I remember Mum coming into my room, waking me up at about 3 o'clock in the morning, going, Glenn, you got to come and see this, and sleepily walking out and watching Australia 2 cross the finish line to win that America's Cup. It is absolutely a very, very special thing, and I remember those days well as a young kid, and that's definitely been an inspiration for me to carry on with my sailing and get involved with the America's Cup. So, these young guys and girls that are coming through now from all these teams, they have aspirations, and I certainly did too when I was younger, and I feel very fortunate to have had a fantastic career in sailing, and very comfortably stepping away now, but really looking forward to seeing these youth and women's teams come through, and hopefully they get the same opportunities that I had growing up and sailing myself.
He'd be a great Grant Dalton, wouldn't he? Pulling it all together. I mean, you just need...
Dalton can have that game to himself. He does that very, very well. I'm happy to concentrate on other projects. Thanks very much, Shirley, for the support.
Yes.
Cole Tapper is right, though. You need to light the spark, and by talking about it, by showcasing young Australian talent, that could well just get the fire going. I mean, to get a cup team together, you need massive resources, you need passion, but you also need talent, and that's what we're seeing here.
There's a bucket of talent in Australia for all those prospective wannabe consortiums that want to mount a challenge from Australia. It has been quite clear that Glen Ashby had a great career and is not going to pick up the phone whatsoever. But we can thank your mum, because mum started off something pretty special for you, and it must be nice just looking back now and thinking that if she hadn't woken you up, you never know what you'd be doing right now, right?
No, look, absolutely. And you look at the likes of Jimmy Spithill and Tommy Slingsby, Nath Outridge, just to name a few of the talented Australians that have come through in the America's Cup. Obviously, Ian Murray, race director, one of the Australian legend, Ian Jensen, Goobs, Luke Parkinson, the list goes on. I could keep going for half an hour here talking about all my mates, but they've all done well, and Australia certainly has a lot of talent, not just on the water though, but also behind the scenes. And I know, Italy, very, very passionate about their sailing. New Zealand, so many countries super passionate about the sport, and it would be great to see an Australian challenge at some point, but talk's cheap, and you've got to get your wallet out to make it happen. So it's big bucks, and hopefully we can pull it off one day for the country of Australia.
Just confirmation that the start time for race number 2 has been pushed to 3:15 local. Look at the top left of your screen. 3:18 now. A little update there. So 8 minutes and 27 seconds and counting to the start of race number 2 in Group B. Race number 1, just reminding you, won by Sail Team Barcelona, followed by Canada, Sweden, Germany and Australia. Yayo Team Dutch Sail were forced to retire, not being able to get up on the floors once the race had started.
Just a little reminder about the wind speed limit. It is not a grey area. No one just decides. It is measured in the top marks and at the start marks, and they have to, at both ends, it has to be over 7 0.5 knots for an average set amount of time. And with the live wind at the bottom of the screen, it's sort of tantalizingly close to being go.
So there's Concord Pacific Racing. What a nice surprise for everybody and for their supporters to finish second in race one. It's been a while actually since Canada's been involved in the America's Cup, but this squad aboard Concord Pacific Racing is hoping to pave the way for the next generation.
We are super excited to be here. It's been a long time coming and a lot of training's gone into this, and yeah, we just can't wait to get going. It always means a lot to have a Canadian team part of this, and to be part of the America's Cup again in this form is really cool for us.
It's awesome to be able to represent Canada, one of the biggest stages in sport and sailing. Can't really put it into words. Just such a great opportunity for all of us, so we're super excited.
Been putting super long hours in the sim just in an effort to utilize what we've got as best we can, and it's been incredibly helpful. You know, our first time stepping on the boat was quite a seamless transition because of the long hours that we put in the sim, and you know, things just like having the right instincts and the right muscle memory for when you get on the boat was super helpful. It was quite a smooth transition.
I have Andrew Wood driving for me, and I've known him for a very long time. When I first started sailing 49er, the first regatta I went to out of Nova Scotia where I live, he was there, and we've sailed together a few times, but I think the fact that we knew each other for so long before has really helped, and we have a great relationship now, and we're really good.
We feel very confident with each other, and we can sort of predict what the other's going to do. Then on the other side, we've got Andre Van Dam trimming and Galen Richardson driving. I'm really excited with the team we've got together. Developing our communication has been one of the most important parts about learning how to sail this boat. I think one thing that we did have going for us was that a lot of us had sailed boats where we had needed to use very effective communication, even in Olympic classes and things like that. So it was more of a tweak of how you're using your communication.
My wheel coming up. Not too close.
I think starting is one of the things that is probably going to be the most different from the sim to on the water. So it's something that we just need to have a really clear plan for. Your port helm is really setting you up for that start, but at the end of the day, it really is a team effort, because as much as they're driving the boat and, you know, keeping you fast and keeping you out of the way of others, which is quite a big job, we have on the other side have our tactical screen that we're looking at, and we're judging our time to the line and our time to tack. So it's really, you know, all hands on deck during the start. In our pool initially, I think the clear team that's going to have the big leg up is going to be the Swedes. You know, they've had their 40 out here, they've been training, they've been doing practice starts with all the cup teams. So I think at this point, people that have had a lot of time on the boat are going to be the threats.
All right, I'd like to go through the finish if we can.
One of our biggest goals in this is to obviously do as well as we can, but also, you know, inspire the youth of Canada to get out, get foiling, and get into it. It's a very, very exciting time, and I really hope that this continues for Canada.
Canada's Concord Pacific Racing. Concord Pacific Racing picking up 7 valuable points for finishing second in race 1 of Group B. We have just been advised of an extension to the start time for race number 2, which is now 3:25. That's 3:25, 11 minutes from now. So hopefully we'll get them up and sailing and we can go racing with a full fleet. We had 5 boats last time. Yacht Team Dutch Sail, which is, we know, full of very, very talented sailors. The whole fleet is full of talented sailors, but they've got a loaded boat onto the water with Peter Lester. Peter, what's the weather looking like? Are we going to get close? We're 11 minutes from a start. Do you think we'll get there?
You keep asking me that one. Look, it's to the north, it's clear. It looks sort of decent up there. In fact, the sun's trying to break through. I don't think that'll have any impact on this. But immediately out to sea, right out to the east, it's patchy, and the sky cover, it's quite cloudy. There's the odd black little cloud cover, and there's a little bit of pulsing coming out of that out of that cloud, but it's not lasting, it's not hanging in. And then down to the south, it's quite black and it looks like rain. So look, what does that all paint a picture of? Really unstable pattern. Around us here, coming around our bow now, the Spanish are up foiling, but immediately to windward of them, the Swedes are stuck in the water. And so, look, it's right at the bottom end, and it'll be a brave call for Ian Murray to get this one off.
Okay. Happy days on the water. Well, it was happy days for Sail Team Barcelona picking up that first win, and they are sailing comfortably and I must suggest confidently after that first race.
Yeah, I mean, these teams, apart from the Swedish outfit, haven't had much time in the boat, so they should really use this time. And inevitably in Barcelona, you end up at some point sailing in this, so really need to fine-tune their trimming. As Glenn said, we saw some mistakes, you know, not that synchronized as we'd expect really from the invited team. So they should really knuckle down and get a bit of practice in. As Peter said, there is big gusty patches, but there's also massive lulls, huge holes to fall in.
So start time top left of your screen, 8:36 and counting to the start of the race. Number 2 in Group A of the UniCredit Youth America's Cup. It's a bit of a dull old day. We've been used to wonderful, warm, sunny, windy days. The last 24, 48 hours has been a bit sort of, well, unexpected. You know, no one out playing volleyball on the beach early, so all tucked up saying, oh, well, we'll have a bit to go to work then.
They're certainly quite treacherous on the roads coming into work this morning, that's for sure, with the amount of water around and some slippery conditions. And what we're seeing here is sort of the tail end of that little weather system that's come through. So definitely a changing of the seasons here in Barcelona. So very much the end of summer coming into autumn here, and the opposite in the southern hemisphere, going from winter time into spring and then heading in towards summer. So hopefully we'll get some more breeze coming down fairly shortly so we can actually see some decent racing here again.
It is a tiny racetrack. It is, I think, less than a kilometre long. It is very, very small. And if I was any of their coaches, would certainly be saying, get nearer to the starting box. It was not pretty the last start. They can't afford to get too far away. Just stay as close as you can to where the action's going to happen.
It's all over the show like Brown's cows at that last start, and there was really only a couple of teams that sort of executed that last 3 or 4 minutes accurately, and the Germans and the Australians really sort of getting the best of that. Team Barcelona also doing not a bad job, but it was very, very tricky conditions, and really important to execute that couple of minutes or even 3 or 4 minutes before the start really well to give you a chance of getting off the start line. And to win a race, one must start, and start well in pretty much every other regatta that you didn't go to.
And you have to get across the start line within 2 minutes of the gun or you're disqualified, so don't get too far away.
And if you look at your screen again, start time's been pushed out a little bit more, so it's now 9 minutes and 15 seconds to go for the start in race number 2, Group B, UniCredit Youth America's Cup here in Barcelona. Germans would have been pretty happy after race 1. They came home in 4th position, and they're a nation with a ridiculous amount of sailing talent. And the crew that made the cut here are without doubt they're going to make the most of this opportunity that could change the course of their career.
It's incredible to be part of the America's Cup. It has always been a dream since I've been a little child to be part of that, and now to have the chance to represent my country and be in a team for Germany. It's incredible, and I'm very grateful that I have this opportunity.
To perform here well is a great opportunity to give back to the people at home. I mean, my parents and whole family and friends, they're all supportive and helping me a lot out. And yeah, to say thank you, a good performance would be great. I mean, the AC40 is a great boat. It's super fast, way faster than everything we sailed. That we can throw it around the corners like hell, especially if both boats are down. It's just going around the corner super quick, and yeah, this makes it super exciting, I think.
We can reach over 45 knots, and yeah, it's incredible how the feeling is on the boat, and I'm very excited to be racing this boat in front of Barcelona.
59 cat feels amazing at the moment. It was super fast.
Transition from the Ilka 7 to the AC40 is quite big, because you go from a very slow boat to a very fast boat, from a boat which is sailed by one person to a boat which is sailed by 4. I feel like it's a very good opportunity to evolve as a sailor, but also work in a team and be a good teammate.
What is typical for our team is that we all are super calm on the boat. In stressful situations, this will help a lot. We've just basically spent a lot of time together, trying to put ourselves in different kind of stressful situations. If it's in the simulator or on the J70 doing some match race drills. That's how we try to get along in the communication and get better and better every day. I'm really looking up to Jochen Schümann as a two-time America's Cup winner with Alinghi back in the days. He's a big role model to all of us, and we are super lucky that he's helping us in the team.
Paul Farin is our team leader. He started...
So, just apologies for a little bit, a moment there as we get back on course, and we're starting to see some encouraging signs. If you look around the course, you can see where the pressure is at, like where the Swedish Challenger racing right now at 9.5. Well, that's what the wind's doing right there, and of course 7.5 knots is the lowest wind limit. So we're moving closer to potential racing. The question is, will the Mother Nature play ball for the majority of the race? Just a reminder, the last race we shortened from 4 legs to 3, so they finished upwind, and it was the local team, Sail Team Barcelona, getting the points. It is worth noting that while we're talking about this group, which is Group B, Group A, the America's Cup teams, and it's, I mean, I suppose it rolls on from yesterday when we saw Luna Rossa Prada Pirelli move into the Louis Vuitton Cup final, that their own youth team is blazing a trail in the Group A with the America's Cup teams, having recorded 3 wins already, and they've done it magnificently.
Certainly sailed extremely well. The young team of Luna Rossa Prada Pirelli, and surely some really, really good talent coming through there in the Italian team.
Yeah, I mean, really nurtured by the senior team and embedded in everything they do. They're so part of it all and really set the benchmark, but in very different conditions to we're seeing right now. It was verging on full survival, wasn't it? They certainly put on a show, but this is a good sign. And do Australia zipping around. We want to see more of that.
8 minutes and 40 seconds and counting to the start of race number 2. I mean, there was a nice buzz around the town last night. It depended where you were walking, but with all the Luna Rossa fans and the sail team themselves out and just celebrating, and you know, to see the youth team, you know, continuing in a similar vein. That'll make the senior team feel really good too. I mean, it's little things, right? It's devil in the detail when you're vying for something as big as the Louis Vuitton 37th America's Cup. Albeit you've got to win the Louis Vuitton Cup first.
Absolutely, and I think you know, it really, you know, it's a nice feeling for the whole wider team if your youth team, you know, is doing well, and a lot of those youth and women's teams, you know, very, very much immersed in the daily operational side of the bigger teams, and you know, learning a lot, getting to immerse themselves into different aspects, different departments, hydraulics, electronics, sales, rigging, so many different areas that you can learn a lot about. And sailing industry, you know, very, very big industry worldwide, and lots and lots of new developments and technologies coming on board, and a lot of these young men and women really being exposed to some fantastic new technology, and obviously being able to take it on. This whole new generation coming through, all this new tech is really exciting.
Yeah, I know that Luna Rossa youth team actually look after their own boat, so they've learned the skills, you know, to service and look after the whole thing, and occasionally I guess they have to ask for help, but you know, massive opportunity.
which is what the UniCredit Youth America's Cup is all about, offering an opportunity to some of the finest young sailors on offer around the world to represent their country. And maybe just one day, members of America's Cup teams look at their succession plan going, yes, we would like you on board to try and create a little bit of history, because that's what we are. We're trying to create history every day and see the next high performance sailors do their thing here on the waters of Barcelona. 6.5 minutes and counting at the start of race 2. This is an encouraging sign, and this is the Swedish challenge powered by Artemis. Just going through their maneuvers, making sure they're up on the sails and that we get ready for a start in the second race of the day. Remember, 8 fleet races. Each group must race unless conditions dictate otherwise, but the top 3 teams in each group, the top point scoring teams, top 3 point scoring teams will go through to the semi-final series of 4 races. And that's the thing interesting thing about that. You may be hot to trot in this, we'll call it this mini round robin, but it's a fresh point start into the semi-finals. So you've got to start again. It's a whole new ball game when it comes to the semi-finals in the UniCredit Youth America's Cup. Gee, this looks good right now, doesn't it?
This does look good, and they've extended the course to 1,150 metres, so still not massive, but a very promising sign, and great to see Artemis zipping about there. A lot of the teams staying much closer to the start box. This is looking good.
Well, let's see how good it might be. Let's go to Mr. Happy on the water, Peter Lester. Come on, Pete, give us some good news. Tell us you're feeling good about race 2.
I am actually happy at the moment, because this is as good as it's looked for a long time. In fact, this is as good as that first start when they got underway. And it's just created by the cloud cover. Where there's a big black cloud above us. I hope it doesn't rain on us. It would interfere with my outlook. But right now, if they can just, what have we got, 450 to go, I'm optimistic. And secondly to that, further up beyond the top mark, there's a couple of big cruising boats out there, and they're sailing along just fine. So this one could be a goer.
This is the race.
Well, we got a little excited, didn't we? Because we've just heard from the race committee. It's another 9 and a bit minutes, 15:30, sorry. I'm talking 24-hour talk. 3:27 local, 3:37 local. 3:37 local, excuse me, for the start of race 2.
In times gone by, they used to just measure the wind on the committee boat. We don't even really have a committee boat on the course anymore. But all the boats would zip back and forward in front of it and affect the readings. So now this is much more accurate, and it also gives the race committee an indication of the wind that's to come, the wind that's at the top mark. So much more sensible now, taking the readings from both the top end of the course and the bottom.
We absolutely want to see fair racing, and all the teams want to be, sailing in conditions that are good for racing, and the 7.5 knot wind limit, really the bottom end of what these boats are sort of able to get around the track in. The bumpier the water, a little bit more difficult to take the boats off on. In flatter water, you can take off in just that little bit lighter breeze, but yeah.
So the one team that we've been talking about quite a bit prior to this regatta is the Swedish Challenge, and this outfit's powered by cutting-edge technology and backed by a stellar support crew. High expectations do surround this ambitious Swedish squad.
Being here in Barcelona, having Artemis technologies behind us, it's huge. I was a small kid a few years ago seeing the big cups when Artemis was in it, and now I'm sitting here being a part of it.
We've had a long year since we started about a year and a half ago, working together and training in the moth and wasps, and a lot in the simulator. And now it's pretty cool how it's just been narrowing down throughout the time in the team, and just the intensity of the whole group.
I think Artemis technologies behind us, it means everything. Like their experience from cups before, but also like the people in the company and their knowledge.
In Belfast, they have the simulator, which it's a big platform, which is like raised above the ground, and it kind of moves around. You kind of feel all the forces, and it's very responsive to everything that you're doing on the boat.
I think Artemis does it very well. They did the 2 cups. We started foiling and taking all those years of development to actually do something bigger than just for the sport. It's something we're really proud of, and connect like sport and sailing and development in that area to actually do something good for the planet as well. It's huge.
So I'm the port trimmer on the boat, and in front of me I have Ludwig Lindqvist, who has a really long background in the laser class. He has an incredible talent, I think, from the racing side, which he can really bring to the team. Just racing in such a big fleet for Ludde, I think that really helps in this style of racing as well.
And then behind Ludde, on the port side, trimming on port, is Hugo Christensen, who's been, also started in dinghy and done a few Olympic campaigns, and lately been sailing a lot of moth.
And then on the other side we have Rasmus and Oscar Engström, who have sailed together for a lot of years in the M32, which I think helps since they know each other a lot. And I think we're all 4 quite different, which complements us quite well. I'm a bit more maybe stable in my mood, and the others maybe get a bit more intense when stuff is going on, which I think quite helps in the racing. So it's a good team. The America's Cup is something I've been following for probably 12 years since I started sailing, and something I've always wanted to become part of. And
being where pretty much every sailor is at the moment in Barcelona, and competing against the best in our age, you couldn't dream about anything else.
The Swedish Challenge powered by Artemis, one of the pre-regatta favourites to win the whole shooting match. Surely they've had their own boat, they've done a lot of training, so it sort of stands to reason we'd look at it like that, wouldn't we?
Yeah, I mean, they're absolutely standout team in this group, and also, you know, with Artemis Technologies, it really was the brain power of that America's Cup team that we saw in Bermuda stayed together. Now do lots of interesting projects, you know, foiling, ferries and all kinds of things, but they have really helped these young people understand how to get the best out of this foiling machine. And they've been to Belfast and had, you know, and actually sailed in Belfast for a while where they're based. And it's a fantastic opportunity for them to be embedded at the top end of all of that.
Just a note, 3:41 updated race start time now, 3:41 local for the second race in Group B. Race 1 won by, no, hang on, I've just been told again, 3:42. Let's add an extra 60 seconds just for value. 3:42 start time now for race number 2 in Group B of the UniCredit Youth America's Cup here in Barcelona.
Well, I know I say it was a great opportunity for them to do a bit of practice, but actually we see them just taking it easy right now because they're actually saving battery, and that is a big part of the game, isn't it?
It sure is, and these little AC40 class yachts are completely powered by battery, so the sail controls and the foils on the boat's all powered by battery. So what we see on the big brother, big sister boats, if you like, the AC75s, the foils are powered by batteries on those, but the sails are all powered by the cyclors or by leg power. So big job for the cyclors, but on these boats, you go from a crew of 8 down to a crew of 4 on the AC40s, and everything controlled at your fingertips. So if you're sailing around all the time, you're burning through your batteries very, very quickly, particularly in these bumpy water conditions. You know, the rudder and the actual foil flaps having to do a huge amount of work to fly the boats in these bumpier conditions. So the usage of those batteries is probably double what it would be if the water was flat, you know, on lake-like conditions, if you like. So all the teams probably been instructed by the tech teams to just settle down, and otherwise we're going to have to do too many battery changes or possibly even run out of batteries for the day. So just time to have a cup of tea and a biscuit, and hopefully the breeze will kick in shortly.
Shirley's got the chocolate ones. That's all I'll say. All right, so we've just been advised 3:44 now. 3:44 is the new start time for this second race, which is some beautiful, beautiful yachts just out of the wood. Oh, doesn't that look lovely? Hey, nice relaxing day out on the waters of Barcelona.
Well, both. I don't know if you do, but I race on boats like this. It's not that relaxing.
Well, it looks relaxing right now, Shirley.
Yeah, the fever of the hydraulic technician as he pokes his or her head up out of the hatch when you're sailing those boats in anger is quite interesting at times. But no, absolutely beautiful big boats. And
I wasn't looking at the one at the back. I'm looking at that one right there.
yeah, no, that is a lovely boat. Wouldn't want to be having to do the woodwork on that boat myself personally, but if your wallet was big enough to have a boat like that, you'd probably have somebody that could look after the woodwork for you, and just hopefully you get to actually get the time off whatever you're doing to go and enjoy the actual sailing on it, because that is an absolute ripper.
So we are just waiting in anticipation for the second race in the Youth Cup today. We've had some marvellous racing in Group A, the America's Cup teams. They've sailed their first 4 races. These invited teams had to wait an extra day because of the way everything else was turning out with the extra day required in the Louis Vuitton Cup. And boy, wasn't that the final day exciting. But we've got Ineos Britannia and Luna Rossa Prada Pirelli in the Louis Vuitton Cup final here in Barcelona for 2024. Took us a while, but we got the wave. Thank you very much.
You see the boxes that they're wearing, the yellow boxes. That's how they control their sails.
Yeah, it's some big loads. You talk about big loads. You saw the traveller car on Luna Rossa Prada Pirelli come a duster the other day under about, around 10 tonnes of load, and a lot of the rigging loads on these big boats are well into the 30s, 40s and 50 tonnes of load and even more. So very different to these AC40s that are out here on the water at the moment.
So what we are seeing right now is not a heck of a lot. That's the cable car that goes way up to Montjuic to have a good look back down across the city of Barcelona. Now, what we're going to do is bring you some racing. And look, if we do get racing underway in this second race of Group B, we will jump straight out and go to the live racing straight away. But let's give you some racing from the opening day of Group A, which was the America's Cup teams. This is fleet race number 1.
This is the race committee. We have passed the wind test and this race is live.
That is the best news we have heard all day. We are going to get racing on the official first day of the UniCredit Youth America's Cup, although the French appear to be in a little bit of bother getting up, and here's hoping our Express Lower Racing get going. The defender of this Youth America's Cup, Athena Pathways Great Britain, are below the start line and looking strong. Minute 45 go. They must have thought half an hour ago we're not going to be racing. Suddenly, game on. Boy, they're going to have to switch on quick.
You can never think that. You have to say absolutely locked on. All the teams up and flying.
Yeah, they're definitely going to have plenty on because the breeze has kicked in pretty reasonably well, and all teams on the big J1, so pretty much over range with these big sails. They wouldn't have had time to actually change from the big jibs, so all the teams potentially well and truly over range, which will be pretty exciting to get the boats around the track.
And massive waves, going to make any manoeuvring fully challenging.
Yeah, we are going to see plenty of action here coming up in the next few minutes, so it's very, very tricky to get the boats around. A lot of work for the trimmers and helmsmen on these AC40s.
Just remember, these are points scoring races, 10 for a win. And this was the first of potentially 8 races. And man, we hope we get plenty of this racing in, because this is going to go off. Race 1 not too far away, coming up to 30 seconds to start.
Italy tacked, final approach for the line.
Americans really early there on the line. I'll be having to duck down.
Great Britain on the right-hand corner. Looks
It is on day one, race one of the UniCredit Youth America's Cup.
Ok, boys. PNG, solo cose facili. Forti scala sugli americani.
Well, the best start was the Italian, 7 meters back, flying in the middle of the line.
The Kiwis, penalty there, they had to wash off and had a little spin out there, so they'll be on the back foot early and having to chew their way back through the fleet here.
Marco Guidoni on Luna Rossa, accelerating well. He needs to get enough distance so he can tack at that boundary.
What is the best breeze here, mate? Just because average. We have to give him room at the boundary. Just got the Americans coming around the transom.
Little headers coming on here.
Press in here, mate. Big press, big press, big press.
Okay, stand by for it.
So the Italians there having boundary protection. They'll need to get the tack in, Shirley, and then clear the starboard tack. They come in just to windward of them, but behind, which I think they'll do pretty comfortably.
Great Britain tack joined them.
The Italians in a really commanding position here. The British also, along with the Americans, the top 3 boats.
Great pace from the Italians and height. They're really loving that left-hand side of the track.
Let's go on to the track. Pete Lester and Chase Zero. What do you make of the start? What do you make of the conditions right now, Pete, and how they're going to handle it?
The easier board will be this one, heading out on port. Starboard is really problematic, but what we're seeing now, the boats down to leeward are in a big header, so that means the wind has gone to the right, but Italy have stayed in the left-hand breeze as they stretch their lead, so we've got sort of 2 breezes playing out as they come up to about halfway up the first wind would be.
Luna Rossa Prada Pirelli in a league of their own on this upwind leg. They are fast and they are high.
Yeah, they have definitely hooked into a big lefty or a breeze that's coming out of the left. They've had an absolute blinder.
So on the top mark for the first time in this UniCredit Youth America's Cup, it is Luna Rossa Prada Pirelli. One of the favourites to win the whole thing around that top gate, and they certainly have gapped the fleet at this point in the race. Remember, that's leg 1 of 6 as they head downwind.
Lovely bear away from the Italians.
Following them in will be both American Magic and also Athena Pathways, Great Britain. French struggling at the back of the fleet at the moment.
England 2.
And then it comes Emirates Team New Zealand, who had to wash off a penalty at the start, followed by Lingy Red Bull Racing. They will round the mark and head downwind, but look at the lead that Luna Rossa Prada Pirelli has on the fleet. 28 seconds at that gate to
This is the umpires, boundary penalty France.
So France
This is the umpires. France is disqualified outside the boundary more than 85 metres.
Wow. Straight up. Disqualified. No points for France in race 1. They're gone from race 1.
A massive blow for Orient Express. I think there's something not quite right with the boat. Huge disappointment. Now remember, the name of the game of this qualifying series is to be in the top 3. It's not necessarily about winning races, but 3 of these boats will go into the next. Oh, massive touchdown by Luna Rossa.
Look how quickly they've recovered.
Really nice recovery there. That could have been a lot worse.
This is the race committee. We are moving the windward gate, lengthening the course to 1.1 nautical miles.
Ok, perfetto it is.
Poi andiamo anche sul gate col bias. No dritti.
Ok, small punch on boys.
Nothing out of it.
Having a look here at a little replay of what happened there, and just punching through the back of a wave there. A really good job at saving the boat.
Yeah, how well you recover, really important in conditions like this and in this competition. Nuno Rosa, Prada Pirelli complete 2 legs of 6 in the opening day of the UniCredit Youth America's Cup. Flying and throwing it around.
Aspetto solo le barche di pompa e poi vediamo.
In comes American Magic. They're being watched from shore and on screens large and small by their senior team who are in the game tomorrow, trailing 1-4 in their Louis Vuitton Cup semi-finals. They get around 28 seconds behind. No change to the delta from the top mark.
That was an awesome mark rounding there by the US team, really ripping it round. Good gains.
Lingy Repo Racing currently in 3rd position. They get around the mark. It's a clean rounding. They go upwind for leg number 3.
Happy to go for... Okay, that's
They come firing in like arrows, don't they, into these marks. Next will be Emirates Team New Zealand and the defender of the Youth America's Cup, Athena Pathways, Great Britain. They've recovered pretty well from their penalty start, and they're up and racing and heading towards the top mark on leg 3.
Yeah, disaster of a leg for Great Britain. Rounded the top mark in 2nd. Had a touchdown during a manoeuvre.
Big person, man. Yeah. Just attack whenever you want. Yeah, just need the speed. Space coming in.
It is so wavy, Glenn. I mean, just give us an understanding how tricky it is in these quite small boats and these massive waves.
Yeah, huge job trimming the sails in these conditions, and obviously steering the boat tricky as well, but the boat really moving up and down vertically and sideways quite a bit, so big job for the trimmers there. You see how much those sails are moving. So having a little look at the British here. Shirley in a big foil vent there and a massive splashdown in that jibe. And a huge stop there, really hitting the brakes hard in that manoeuvre, and they've lost a lot of ground.
They lost so much pace.
Okay, same with the Americans.
Looking at Luna Rossa, they look really locked in, and we had that lovely view of trimming of the mainsail, tiny adjustments, and really seem to have found a groove.
Let's go to Chase 0, Peter Lester. What do you like about what the Italians are doing right now?
Just reminds me of when we were in Jeddah last year when Marco Gradoni really threw down a marker, and that was in the big game against all the America's Cup teams, and he's just picked up, you know, from where he was in Jeddah in similar sort of conditions with pretty solid breeze. All the boats are overpowered, but Marco Gradoni really showing the art of how you sail an AC40.
Fly it like you stole it.
Yeah, he's quite a talent, Marco Gradoni, but his 3 teammates were not with him in Jeddah. They are brand new and have really had to bond and get the best out of the AC40.
Gianluigi Ugolini there, and he's on port. Just see how much steering's going on board these little AC40s. They're right on the edge of grip, bouncing themselves over the top of the waves, doing a great job there with Rocco Falcone trimming.
Okay, good chords.
Big wave here.
So Luna Rossa, Prada Pirelli, they've led the feat from the start, and they will now complete the halfway mark of this opening race in the UniCredit Youth America's Cup. They're doing it with style, Tim, but why wouldn't you? You're Italian, you're all about style, but boy, they are flying this AC40 beautifully. And let's be blunt, it's gone from nothing to challenging conditions straight up.
Yeah, sailing the boats, particularly upwind with the big J1s as they do a big touchdown there on board Italy. They've still managed to keep the rig in the air though, and the foils in the water. pushing the boat hard, back up to 33 knots, 34 knots in quite big waves for these little boats. Doing a great job.
American Magic going around the mark as well. Pete, you were right there with that touchdown.
Yeah, that was a hold-your-breath moment for the Italians, but good recovery. They didn't panic. The rudder didn't pop out of the water. I'm very impressed by the Americans. They're handling their boat expertly, and they've got quite a lot of leverage split as they go downwind for the second time.
Slowly but surely, Emirates Team New Zealand have moved themselves up onto the leaderboard. They're now sitting in the third position. They were fourth in the last leg. They have now picked up a position, and they will round that top mark in position 3. But they're a minute and 5 seconds behind Luno Rossa, Prada Pirelli. In comes Lingy Red Bull Racing, followed by Athena Pathways, Great Britain. So they've got their game back on. So there's a long way to go. 3 legs completed by these teams. 3 still to go. Wow! That's what they're dealing with.
Really close battle here for third position. As the Swiss go into a jibe there, so the manoeuvre's quite tricky, particularly in this seaway, but a really good battle here going on for that third position.
It is so important. This fleet does not know how many races there would be. This could potentially be it. You want to ensure you are in the top 3.
Tell you what's impressive today from what we've seen with the practice races is how quickly they've adjusted to the sea state and got themselves out of trouble, particularly this team you're seeing on screen right now. Luno Rossa, Prada Pirelli, you saw just before Mark Browning before they touched down, but they just got themselves out of trouble. It must be like riding a roller coaster right now, but Luno Rossa, Prada Pirelli are handling it beautifully. Leg 4 of 6 completed as they whip their 40 around the bottom mark and head up.
These guys will have a grin on their face like a split watermelon. They'll be having a fantastic time. Just need to keep it together as the Americans come down to the bottom gate.
Keeping those 2 ball downs got to be important just for stability. That's the other thing too, I suppose, Glenn, the stability of these things in these conditions. You have to be somewhat safe.
Yeah, the object of the game is to get the boat round the track, and got to keep that rudder in the water, and really important to keep pushing the boat hard. Sometimes when you slow down, it actually makes it more difficult to get through the seaway. So keeping the foot on the gas and sailing the boat well, really important, like it is on any high-performance dinghy in these conditions.
And the battle for third and fourth goes on. Lingy Red Bull Racing not letting go of Emirates Team New Zealand. The difference is just the 2 points. Actually, you get 5 points for third and 3 for fourth. So those 2 points could be huge. And Emirates Team New Zealand get around.
I need to get the main sheet on there. Emirates Team New Zealand, massive twist in the mainsail there. So boat getting pretty out of balance. The Swiss coming round behind them. Pushing hard here. The big battle on here for this third position. Emirates Team New Zealand having to keep sailing well.
There goes Athena Pathways, Great Britain around the bottom mark. Remember, we've already lost the French, disqualified for going well out of bounds. So it's a 5-boat race, and the French will pick up 0 points in the opening race of the UniCredit Youth America's Cup. The fleet being led beautifully by Luno Rossa, Prada Pirelli.
Yeah, I think so. You got 20 seconds.
So another look at the mark rounding here from the Kiwis, and you just see how twisted that main is and how much above centre line the Traveller is in the main, just coming on there. So really out of balance there with the boat, making it really tricky to keep the boat under control, but they did a good job to get it rounding, not lose the rudder there. Oh, and a big touchdown there on the Italians. They've got to get the boat popped up again. Looks like they've really slowed down there for whatever reason. And back up and going there, so not sure whether the cant just went under a little further than they were hoping or what was going on there, but a big loss there compared to the Americans, but they're up and going again now.
It looks like it's getting harder and harder. We've had a slight increase in wind speed. We've now got 15, 16 knots.
Well over range now in these conditions with the J1 on board, so you'd normally be on a J3 now, so you'd actually be 2 jib codes down from where they are sailing at the moment. So
too much power.
Got too much power. Too much power at the front of the boat. You can see how twisted the jib is there. Everything absolutely maxed out. So all the team is really having to survive to get these boats around the track here at the moment. And it's the Americans there struggling to keep the boat under control.
Well, the sea state's not helping anything at the moment as Luna Rossa Prada Pirelli have survived their wee touchdown, and they bolt to the top gate for the last time. But hang on, we're not done with yet. Both boards are down as they get around. Wow, watch the mark, lads.
A full safety bear away here.
And they're on the homeward leg. They're looking at that first 10 points in the opening race of the UniCredit Youth America's Cup. Luna Rossa Prada Pirelli on fire right now, followed in by American Magic, representing the New York Yacht Club.
Americans full gas here. Not backing off at all at the moment.
Nice and slow.
And going for the one board bear away, so hang on to your hats.
2, 1,
Shoulders back, keep the bow out.
Okay.
And away you go. Nice job.
You happy if I take just
So boats 1 and 2 have gone around the top gate. In comes Emirates Team New Zealand. They've got away on Alinghi Redwood Racing, who've dropped behind and changed position because now 4th is Athena Pathways Great Britain. Emirates Team New Zealand will want a clean rounding of this mark.
One board, bear away for Emirates Team New Zealand. Nice smooth turn there, and I'll be happy to get round there in good shape.
In comes Athena Pathways Great Britain. Mind you, they are now being chased as Alinghi Red Bull Racing have found a little bit of speed on that upwind leg. They'll go opposite marks and head on down for the final leg of the 6-legger. Whoa! Okay.
Yeah, they'll have to build speed here and get foiling before they turn the boat downwind here. Alinghi Red Bull Racing, so need to take off and not turn the boat down while they're slow there. Last job there for the Italians, surely. They'll be wanting that finish line to come at them as quickly as possible.
Yeah, the toughest of conditions, but an absolute masterclass by Marco Gradone and his team.
Beautiful job, for sure, from the Italians.
In the opening race of the UniCredit Youth America's Cup, Marco Gradone and Luna Rossa Prada Pirelli have done a job on the fleet. It's start to finish
penalty Switzerland
for Luna Rossa Prada Pirelli, and the maximum 10 points they get. So we are live in Barcelona. It's the opening day of Group B in the UniCredit Youth America's Cup. Remember, there are 2 groups, Group A, which are the 6 America's Cup teams, and these are the invited teams. They are, of course, Sail Team Barcelona, Canada, Sweden, Germany, Australia, and Yacht Team Dutch Sail. We've had the one race, and that was won by Sail Team Barcelona. No one saw that one coming, but boy, they got the home waters singing for them, and they picked up the maximum 10 points. It's 10 for first, 7 for second, 5 for third, 3 for fourth, 2, 1, and 0. And if you are disqualified, you don't get any points whatsoever. So there are fans out there patiently waiting to see some racing, as we are, but the latest that we have been given is 4:09, 9 minutes past 4 for racing. There have been regular updates have been coming like lightning into our studio. So 4:09 is the next official start time here in Barcelona. Stephen McIver, double Olympic gold medalist Shirley Robertson, 3-time America's Cup champion Glenn Ashby, and America's Cup tactician Peter Lester on the water. It's just it's a patient waiting game, team. You get the moments and then they go away.
We're so close to it all happening, and as soon as we get the green light, I'm sure it will be off. But yeah, I mean, we have 7.5, 8 knots at the top of the track, and a little bit less at the bottom, so very close to having race.
The forecast for today actually has the breeze just a little more than what we're seeing at the moment, so fingers crossed, right on the cusp at the moment. So the ideal conditions for these boats really around that sort of 12 to 13 knot mark, so we'll just see what plays out, but hopefully we'll get to some racing very, very soon.
All righty, let's go into the water with Peter Lester. Peter, what are you seeing? Be encouraging. We need some encouragement.
There's another change. The sun's trying to break through above us, and that's a good sign, but that big black cloud now is right over the top of you guys, so we need that to break up, and then maybe we'll get a late afternoon push.
What are you saying? There's a big black cloud hanging over us. What is that? Is there some inference in that?
What did you get up to last night, Stephen?
No, but I like it.
All right. Well, we are live off the Port Olympique, which is, of course, the home to the Barcelona Olympics and the sail regatta there. This is day number 1 of Group B, the UniCredit Youth America's Cup. So no racing as yet. The last update we had from race management for the second race was 9 minutes past 4. That was 9 minutes past 4. Hang on, it's just changed. It's now 11 minutes past 4. So 11 minutes past 4 is the next official projected start time for the second race of Group B in the UniCredit Youth America's Cup. And the backdrop is amazing when you see the sailing. The sights of Barcelona are absolutely magnificent. And it really is a treat of a place to be bringing you this Youth America's Cup, and of course the Louis Vuitton 37th America's Cup, where we are moving into the Louis Vuitton Cup phase next week, next Thursday. Then the big battle, first to 7 race wins between Ineos Britannia and Luna Rossa Prada Pirelli, and we cannot wait for that. They were pushed by their respective opponents in the semi-finals, but in the end they came out on top. So we're just waiting for an update on racing from race management. But as I have said to you just a moment ago, 11 minutes past 4. 11 minutes past 4 is the next projected start time. Next projected start time for racing here in Barcelona. If you just popped in and for a little squiz to see what's going on, we did have race 1, and that was won by Sail Team Barcelona. That team there, Yacht Team Dutch Sail, couldn't get back to the start line in time, so we're forced to retire. So the race order with 5 boats was Sail Team Barcelona, 10 points. Concord Pacific Racing Canada, 7 points. Swedish Challenge powered by Artemis, 5 points. AC Team Germany, 3 points. And Andu Team Australia, 2 points. It's on, but they want to go racing because 3 teams out of this group will go forward to the semi-finals, and that will be the 3 highest scoring teams.
This is the race committee. We are abandoning racing for today. Thank you for your patience. We will continue racing with Group B again tomorrow, so we'll see you out here at 2 p.m. Race committee out.
So confirmation, racing abandoned in Group B. Abandoned in Group B for this edition of the UniCredit Youth America's Cup. And, well, I suppose, let's be blunt, team, for the sailors and themselves, they would rather be sailing, but there's no point in sitting out here twiddling their thumbs.
No, look, the wind limits are the wind limits, and being a wind-powered sport, you need the right amount of wind to get the boats going. So I think absolutely the right call there from Ian Murray and Mel Roberts there to get everyone back to the shore, and we'll come back tomorrow to see some more action.
Yeah, and the Youth America's Cup is the only show in time for the next few days, so they have this wonderful racetrack all to themselves. So plenty of time to get all the racing in over the next few days.
They may be heading home, but we're not going to head home just yet. We're going to keep bringing you some racing. We'll go back to Wednesday, the opening day of Group A, the America's Cup teams, and fleet race number 4.
You know, two races are never the same here in Barcelona, are they? And there is massive holes in this racetrack.
This is
proper
Team
snakes
USA.
and ladders
we still have
today.
technicians on board, and we're unable to.
We have real issues with American Magic.
Race committee copies.
So they're saying they're unable to sail. That is a hammer blow, absolute hammer blow to American Magic on the back of their classy performances yesterday.
Yeah, we can see the frustration and disappointment.
And then, of course, my apologies, that was the French as well. They are in a similar position. We haven't had confirmation whether they are racing or not, but it appears we may be back to a 4-boat fleet again.
Yeah, absolutely.
You couldn't write the script, could you?
Absolutely heartbreaking for the French team, Foreign Express, L'Oreal Racing, and just really hoping to see them out on the racetrack. They don't deserve the luck that they've had if they cannot race in this race. That's not fair. They've put a big effort in, and hope to see them out racing again soon. Here with 1 minute 25 to go. These teams will be lining up now to put themselves to get the whole shot for this race, Shirley.
Switzerland off the foils on the left-hand side. Need to get going.
To build quickly here with only a minute to go. The Swiss on the back foot, they've got to get foiling here and up to speed to put themselves in a good position. Then also part of Pirelli will be spinning the boat round here shortly, lining up for a nice time on distance start. Good speed. They'll be on their final approach now to the line. Kiwis will be coming down, and they'll be looking to tack in underneath the Italian team.
They're coming low to push us low. Copy. Just round up around them.
British looking to do a port start and head out to the right-hand side of the course. Just thread the eye of the needle and make sure they don't infringe, as they will be the giveaway boat.
It's going to be a late tack for the Kiwis.
Inside the last ticket, 10 seconds. Here we go. It's race number 4, the America's Cup fleet and the UniCredit Youth America's Cup. It's a go.
It was like quite a strong one in 30.
Impressive recovery from Alinghi Red Bull Racing. They have to get a good result, and they pulled that star out the bag.
That was a time run from off the foils for the Swiss team, but they've managed to get their nose clear and sailing really nicely.
From USA, we believe you've instructed not to start, and we'll be removing you from the race.
Just take a moment to look at the speed and the height of Luna Rossa Prada Pirelli.
They have hit the nitrous button, the Italians. Beautifully hooked up into a nice lane of pressure there. Will not be able to tack and cross Emirates Team New Zealand though. You see them caving into that left-hand pressure, and Emirates Team New Zealand just staying in that right-hand shift. They're going to get out of there while they can. Try and sail around the fan of that pressure and take the gain.
It's head on to chase 0 with Peter Lester. Peter, once again, the Italians starting beautifully.
Yeah, great start. What they do, they set up wide right and just then they've got perfect time on distance. They did that in the first race and they did in the second one, and that just gives them that good advantage off the line for the Italians. Right now, all three boats coming across, heading over to the right. They look to be a good breeze, those three leading boats. There's a big black cloud to the south of us here, and I think that's creating a real unstable flow.
But we can just see the start of that black cloud that Peter's talking about, just to the right-hand side of the screen, and that has rotated the breeze to the right, and it's sucking the wind pressure, making this so hard for these sailors.
A little advantage there to Luna Rossa, Prada Pirelli, just gauging off Emirates Team New Zealand, so just that vertical separation, sailing about the same speed, but just gauging off, so increasing that distance closer to the wind and taking advantage, getting slightly closer to those top marks.
In 3, 2, 1, board down.
Lovely tack on board. Luna Rossa, Prada Pirelli, the Kiwis up their exhaust pipe.
And the Italians, it feels like blink and don't miss it. It feels like race number 3, but it is Luna Rossa, Prada Pirelli leading Emirates Team New Zealand at the top gate for the first time. This is race 4, UniCredit Youth America's Cup. They are the team to chase right now, Luna Rossa, Prada Pirelli.
Good angle down here. Let's check me there.
More importantly, encouraging signs for Alinghi Red Bull Racing. Up and going. They sit in position 3 at this point at the top gate. Followed closely by Athena Pathways, Great Britain. The Swiss need points. And in comes Athena Pathways, Great Britain.
British got a little bit more work to do in this race, Shirley. Quite get off that first part of the beat as well as they would have liked.
Yeah, they didn't look at phase really with what was going on. They were really
huge touchdown, sorry. Yeah.
battling their way around the course.
Yeah, very shifty conditions as you said, and they're going to have to really pull some tricks out of the box to get back into this race and challenge for the lead.
Nice battle at the front of this 4-boat fleet, isn't it, between Luna Rossa and Emirates Team New Zealand.
Happy anytime. And board down 2, 1, board down.
Getting high and loose again. Kiwis. Smashing to save. A real big touchdown and slow down there, so right on the edge.
Their manoeuvre is not as smooth as they would like, and we can hear the frustration on board.
We talk a lot about the AC-75s making one minute mistake and it can cost them. It's greater here. It is huge a mistake.
The Kiwi team might be a little bit loose, but they have closed the gap on the leaders. We have a race.
Yeah, nothing in this race. One touchdown in this, and there'll be a lead change. So the British having an absolute blinder of a downwind, hooked into some really nice shifts there and putting pressure on the leader. So British not out of this, sailing really well and closing the gap.
Luna Rossa, Prada Pirelli, Emirates Team New Zealand, they're all putting on a show today. Day 2 of the UniCredit Youth America's Cup. The Italians are on, followed closely by Emirates Team New Zealand. You can keep a track of how far they are behind. At the bottom of your screen, you'll see all the positions and the distance back to the leaders.
Big touchdown, Shirley, from the Italians around that mark, and Emirates Team New Zealand just closing the gauge. A huge moment there for Luna Rossa, Prada Pirelli. Really big vent there on the foils, getting too high, and we've got a real race on our hands now.
Italians still have control, heading to the left-hand boundary, but only just.
Hey, slow down. Nice pressure.
best tack there on board Emirates Team New Zealand. That'll be costly for them. Little gains back to the Italians. But the British, Shirley, nice clean rounding, sailing over into some really good pressure on that right-hand side of the course. So don't be surprised to see them making some gains on the leaders.
Unload the wind main if needed, eh?
Let's get it.
As long as light. Okay, boys, good path, full speed, eh? You're leading.
I think I'm in. No, nice, no slower for me.
Cross coming.
Nice one, boys.
Big right.
Potentially close cross coming up here between Athena Pathway and Emirates Team New Zealand. So the British making some big gains. So what we saw there on the screen of that pressure coming down out of the right has given the British some huge gains, and they may actually be splitting the difference here. So they've gained a huge amount on this work and a massive gain against Emirates Team New Zealand. And then the Swiss in number 4 watching it all happening. UniCredit there just going, they've made a big gain. We're just going to consolidate where we are. We don't need to lead by 1 kilometre. We just need to lead by 1 boat length, and they're just shutting it down and staying in touch, consolidating their lead.
This going to chase 0. Peter Lester, loose racing by Emirates Team New Zealand, costing them dearly.
Yeah, and the right is so strong. Emirates Team New Zealand are now just taking a bit of that right leverage. It'll be interesting to see where they line up when they come back together. But we're in a period of change out here with the wind. Down south of us, that big black cloud is just moving off. But what it's doing is just dragging the wind around to the right. So anyone in the far right, if you want to do a bit of a Hail Mary, you could get a big benefit out here.
Emirates Team New Zealand going for the doctor. And Luna Prada Pirelli just sailing nice and cleanly, not doing anything silly, just keeping in touch with the boats behind. And the British there sailing a couple of really nice shifts to get back into second position after being pretty deep after that first lap.
The British happy to do their own thing and split from the crowd. We've seen that really work for them on this leg. Very much in the game here.
We've read this story before already today. Luna Prada Pirelli at the top gate, leading the fleet to complete the halfway point in race 4 of the UniCredit Youth America's Cup, followed by Athena Pathways Great Britain. They'll be second around that mark at the top gate. Emirates Team New Zealand trying to find some gas to stay in touch with Athena Pathways Great Britain, who get around and head home on, or head down on the home 4th leg.
Oh, and Emirates Team New Zealand, just see the shift that they've sailed into, not even laying that right turn. So really, really difficult there to get back in this, and the British and Luna Rossa just doing a really nice job of sailing good numbers and good angles. So a bad jibe there by Athena Pathway Great Britain. They need to rebuild quickly there.
How quickly it changes in this America's Cup.
Shirley just having a look here, possibly what happened on the bridge. Oh, real bad wave. They could have picked their place to jibe there, low on the foils, putting the boat straight to the crest of that wave. So
they've recovered well, though. They've recovered well, and that's the most important thing. As Lingy Red Bull Racing get around and complete 3 legs of 6.
Watch out, big wave here.
And we're making huge gains here.
Copy.
Let's look on the right,
Always nice to hear.
Yeah, good comms.
Out here.
Luna Ross on the British there needing to jibe as they're heading into that electronic boundary. The course limits. that's how you want to jibe an AC40 in waves.
Great timing. They picked their moment, didn't they? But also great trimming. I mean, the boat looked fully powered up. They had all they need.
Beautiful coast. Nice hook up. Straight back onto the power source again, which is the wind. Not much in this between the British and Emirates Team New Zealand, so that couple of wobbles we saw earlier from the British, Emirates Team New Zealand right back in it now for second place.
Bottom gate to complete leg number 4. 2 to go. At this point for Luna Rossa, Prada Pirelli. Leaders of Group A, the Emirates Cup boats and the UniCredit Youth Americas Cup.
The British have another jibe. Kiwis.
Oh, they've had an absolute bazzer. Really do a big job here, get the boat rebuilt up to speed, so that'll be a huge loss for Emirates Team New Zealand.
The British just surviving theirs.
Oh, 410 mid-jibe. That's an absolute moth classic, and fill up the kids' pool. And that's a good way to hit the brakes, which is not what you're wanting to do on the downwind leg.
But it opens up the door for Lingy Red Bull Racing as Zenna Pathways Great Britain complete their 4th leg and head up for the second to last in this 4th race. So positional change yet again. Now it's Lingy Red Bull Racing sitting in 3rd position, and Emirates Team New Zealand in all sorts of bother.
You see there the little scupper, little flap underneath the hull there, that's a drain. So if you do fill the cockpit up with water, those drains open up and drain those cockpits out quickly. And as we're seeing today, a little bit of water getting into the cockpits, which is not what you're wanting to do, Shirley.
Meanwhile, the head of the fleet, Luna Rossa, Prada Pirelli, Pete, making no mistakes.
They're in a class of their own. You know, the others are battling it out. The other team that impressed me are actually Athena Pathways, Great Britain. They, when they're back, when they get caught down in the pack, they just seem to be able to move their way through. And any time I look at a yacht race and see a team that's a bit deep, and if they can come back through the field, you've got to be impressed by that. So the 2 teams that are very steady and consistently steady are the Italians and GBR.
Well, we're just witnessing there an issue on Emirates Team New Zealand. Not sure what, but they are really down speed and have borne away and are heading back to the starting area. We'll let you know when we hear.
We look at the starboard cockpit there. Marco Grodani just about to take over with Federico Colanino from Gianluigi Ugolini and Rocco Falcone. So transfer of control. Luna Rossa, Prada Pirelli in a commanding lead here.
Probably a righty coming in soon.
I think Red Bull Racing needs every point. They've been plagued with gear failure. They have to make this stick, and they've done well in the last 2 legs. They are right back in contention for second and have a real battle with GBR.
Swiss team really sailing well at the moment and getting the boat ripping nicely, so they've found their groove, and if you can sail the boats well, massive gains for doing a good job in trim and steering, so keep pushing. They'll possibly be up into second place.
Luna Rossa, Prada Pirelli leading the fleet home. They will complete the 5th leg. Nothing's perfect in these conditions, but they are leading the fleet comfortably at this point. This would be a big amount of points for Lingy Red Bull Racing. They will potentially jump Emirates Team New Zealand the standings after this. We'll just confirm all of that as it comes to fruition. But Luna Rossa, Prada Pirelli.
Click lower, mate.
1 leg to go.
That's a good angle here.
Okay, 20 boys start thinking about it.
That's a good moment.
So the team under pressure now here for points just in this race. There's the thinner pathways. Great Britain. Can Alinghi Red Bull Racing get past them? This will be fun to watch.
That's your angle.
It's going to be a good battle. This last downwind, so the Swiss team having to just stay as close as they can to the British team and keep the pressure on, try and force an error. Swiss team there not being able to lay, so a little left-hand shift there. Having to tack and take by turn.
A bit lower, again, clear in 3, 2, 1, clear. Big pressure here.
Red Bull Racing. One downwind leg to go. Huge motivation though, huge for them to get out there, get racing after what's been going on over the last 24 hours. So this will be a huge boost for the team. Remember, after this, 4 fleet races left in Group A.
Well, the eagle-eyed viewer will have spotted the Kiwi flag. They are up and running. Of course, they are in 4th spot, but so important that they finish this race. They collect as many points as they can. It's good to see.
Yeah, after that full ventilation, airborne jibe and crash down, the Kiwis had to do a full rebuild there and actually get the boat back and going again. So it took a huge loss relative to the fleet, but they'll be absolutely one of the points. But Luna Rossa Prada Pirelli.
On my wheel.
Oh, having a couple of loose moments themselves there, and the Italians. Oh, nice save. Great trimming. A couple of really loose moments there, but beautifully controlled, right on the edge of capsize.
And this has been the feature in all the races we have seen. Luna Rossa Prada Pirelli. They face danger right in front of them. They go, no, it's okay, we can get out of this. And they will get out of it again and bank win number 3 in the UniCredit Youth America's Cup. Italy right now, and this fleet are the ones to beat. Luna Rossa Prada Pirelli, they lead Group A in the UniCredit Youth America's Cup. Sadly today, racing has been called off in Group B. Race management decided there was just never going to be enough win, but we'll be back into it tomorrow. Mind you, we did get 1 race, and that was the most important thing. And we got what some might suggest a surprise result. Sail Team Barcelona came home. The early race was led by the Swedish challenge powered by Artemis, but no, and then the Germans popped their head up as well, and it was just one of those days you're going, how could this be going on? But it did. So in the end, when we got down to it, Team Barcelona got 1st, Canada 2nd, Swedish 3rd, German 4th, Australia 5th, and Team Dutch Sail at the end. What are they all fighting for? This. To get here, you've got to be the top 3 of each Group A and B, and then go to the semi-finals, win that, and then you can win this. The UniCredit Youth America's Cup. You can be on top of the world here in Barcelona. So it's a moody old day in Barcelona. Let's just remind you where we are standings-wise for this competition at the moment. This is Group B. 1 race, it says it all. Sail Team Barcelona, the local team, are on top of the pile. But don't forget there's going to be racing tomorrow, and we can look forward to that because it's the first sort of, you might say, round of it. There'll be 3 more fleet races tomorrow to complete that first round. And that's what it will be. Fleets 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay, let's get going from 2:09 tomorrow afternoon here in Barcelona. So we are done for this opening day of Group B. It's disappointing for some, but we got racing away and there were some surprises. Yacht Team Dutch Sail will certainly want to get themselves up and running with better win because we know they are loaded with a rock star group, but there are rock stars across all 12 nations in this UniCredit Youth America's Cup, and we cannot wait to bring you more of it live here from Barcelona. We shall see you from 2 o'clock local time tomorrow. Until then, see you later.